for me. I wound up, meeting Reba for the first time on national television. We'd spoken on the phone several times, but we hadn't met face to face until my battle round, singing a Kelly Clarkson song. Then I would wind up just, I guess it was like a year later going on tour with Kelly Clarkson. So that was crazy.
Oh my gosh, it does sound amazing too. And of course, with all the people that you sang with. But then, when you were growing up, being influenced by country and western, who are some of your favorite artists growing up as well too? Favorite singers, and or maybe even some TV shows you enjoyed growing up as well?
Yeah, so I grew up on the road in evangelism, and since my parents had a background in the arts, they did a lot of musical theater when they first met. They incorporated that into our ministry, and so for me, I was always exposed to a large, broad range of genres. Whether it was, I used to watch a lot of movie musicals, a lot of like The Sound of Music, Annie, things like that, and then I watched the Monkees. My parents got me into the Monkees, which of course is another musical thing. And then I would sing Southern gospel in the mornings, and then country music. My dad, that was the only thing he would listen to on our drives from church to church was country music. And so I was always sort of singing a lot of different genres, but I feel like country music, that brings me home to my roots. That's the first genre I ever started singing before anything else. But I really, back in that time, the first person I can remember making a huge impact on me was Reba. And then as I got a little bit older and music started to change, I got into Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, sang a lot of that stuff. And then I got way into Shania and Garth Brooks. I've always been enamored by people that just know how to just command a song and command a stage. And those are the people that really have drawn me in. But I've also loved people like Barbara Streisand and Judy Garland. I remember my parents had a DVD that I would watch of a concert of Judy Garland, and I remember it was just her with her name and lights in back of her, and it was just her on stage. Like the orchestra was down in a pit, you couldn't see anyone else. And to see one woman hold an audience in the palm of her hand with no bells and whistles, those are the things that impacted me growing up and still impact me today, are watching, how can you, I love a big band and I love lights and I love, moving around all over the stage, but man, if you could strip all that away and still sing a song with so much emotion that you grip people and you don't have any of the bells and whistles, that's what's fascinating to me. So I've grown up idolizing so many people. Aretha Franklin was another huge influence on my life, that really just sometimes even commanded a genre. I feel like that was Aretha Franklin. She just owned that whole genre. That was like her genre. And I think you can hear that in my music, honestly. I think you can hear a little bit of that gospel influence in me. Obviously the country influence, but the pop side as well. And even a little bit of the dramatic theatrical side. I think I'm kind of a melting pot of all of the people that have influenced me.
That's amazing too. It sounds like you got that RESPECT without commanding it, and you do a great job of it, I'll tell you. And it just makes me think too that you mentioned all the other artists, and if it weren't for country and western, what other genre would you sing?
I have sung a lot of different genres growing up, and for a while I sang pop. I did a lot of theater growing up. I was in Annie in several different productions, and I did a production of The Secret Garden at the Paper Mill Playhouse in New Jersey, and worked in New York. And so I've done a lot of other genres. For me, the reason I have come back to country and I didn't continue to pursue everything else is everything else kind of felt like I had to really pay attention on changing something to conform. In theater, I really have to pay attention to not having a southern accent, really watching my vowels and my diction and all of that kind of stuff. And then, in pop music, ooh, I've got way too much of my theater vibrato. Got to take that out. Okay. Straighten my vibrato out, and then once again, pay attention to my vowels. But then when it comes to country music, I don't have to pay attention to any of that. I can just sing the way I sing,
Oh,
and
oh,
I can just let it fly.
I can imagine. Okay, y'all hear me now. So
Right, exactly.
it just makes me think of it too, and it's just amazing a person like you, just just an up and coming, just pay meticulous attention to the detail. It's just like I just never seen anyone that's so intent and do such a great job of it. And of course, speaking of all that, what do you consider your most favorite projects and the most challenging that you've worked in or worked with, I should say?
Oh my goodness, my entire career. um, well, I mean, I feel like being an artist is probably the most challenging because now it's my turn. I've gotten to watch everybody else, and it's like, okay, you're next. But also the most exciting, and in a way, almost in certain ways, it almost feels the most natural. Because once again, I don't have to conform because you even do as a background vocalist. I would say the most challenging as a background vocalist was I've done several songs for Reba with background vocals since Turn on the Radio. And she is one of my favorite singers to sing to because of her thick country accent, which is very different from my country accent.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just had a ball, but it was challenging. It was very challenging. And then I've worked with Dan Huff when I've done those. And so he's an amazing producer, but he is a stickler for perfection when it comes to background vocals. So that was a lot of work when I would do those. But also, like, I think that would probably be my favorite because what challenges me is also like what excites me and what I love. I love a good challenge. It just like I just love the thrill of it. So it would probably all be, as a background vocalist, most challenging and most fun would be doing background vocals for Reba. And then as an artist, once again, it's challenging and fun. So that's also my favorite.
That's amazing too, and how you can combine everything into one here. And what do you consider most memorable moment?
Oh, most memorable moment was when I walked into the studio and Dan Huff was producing for me. That was pretty humbling. It kind of blew me away a little bit. I had worked with him for years with different artists, projects, and we had a great working relationship, but a very different working relationship. It's very different when you're a background vocalist versus an artist. And it was amazing knowing that he cared so much about my creative input because, I've been working at trying to make this happen for myself and being in development, my entire career. I feel like I've been in development as an artist. So I definitely had a lot of creativity input. I had a lot of opinions, and the fact that he was so respectful and listened to them and cherished them, and it was just amazing to get to work with him and know that the incredible musicians that I could see in the studio and hear were playing my songs.
That is fantastic. I mean, you just had a great foundation laid out as well, too. And, of course, we have a couple of minutes with Cherie Oakley, a very busy lady in country western as well, too, with her big hit, Work It. You can find on many platforms. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody right now getting involved in country music or being a singer?
I would say, first of all, you need to go where the action is. A lot of people want to be a writer or they want to be a singer, but they live in a remote place where the opportunities aren't there. And so I would first say move to Nashville, move to LA, move to Chicago, whatever your genre is, go where that is. Because so much of the music industry is based on relationships. And a lot of great songs are written because people have formed such a connection and chemistry together as friends, and then they get together and they write flawlessly and it just kind of oozes out. So I think that's the first thing I would say. And then the second thing I would say is just believe in yourself, because you're always going to hear people tell you how much talent is out there. It's great to be aware of the competition. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frustrating at times. And a lot of things for me have come very close to happening and then have fallen through. And so there's a lot of disappointment. But if you just believe in yourself, you believe that there is a purpose for you in this, and just keep going. That's what I would say.
That is amazing too. And of course, lastly, besides your single "Work It," what are some of your upcoming projects, and what's your website, and how can people contact you?
Yes. So go to my website, CherieOakley.com, sign up for my email list, and you can email me through there. You can also get email updates first about upcoming shows and performances before I ever post them on social media and things like that. So it really is kind of a VIP thing. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. I've got a couple of television shows coming up for me to perform Work It on. And then we're going to look at just continuing to get it to spread, to more playlists, more radio stations, really just try to push it as far as we can go. And then we'll be releasing more singles from my EP, and then eventually the entire EP itself. And so I'm so excited. I've worked so hard on all of this music. Every song means so much to me. And just to be able to finally get it out means the world to me. So I'm just really, really thrilled. So follow me on all my social sites. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, and then you can go to my website, and definitely go to my YouTube channel and check out the official music video.
And where can people download Work It at?
On YouTube, yes. So go to YouTube, and you can subscribe to my channel. You can watch the video a million times if you want. Now you can go to your participating health clubs and watch it as well. And then that's spreading as well. I just got an email saying that there's several places in Canada that are picking it up in different retail shops as well. So it's spreading, and I'm thankful for it. So keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, check out all of my stuff online, and then hopefully it'll just keep popping up all around you.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Cherie, you've been a fantastic guest today, and I'm getting ready to go work it after this, go to my health club and just watch it. I have to get my gear on and everything else. Just want to say you've been fantastic, Cherie, and thank you very much for being on the program. And do us a favor, keep us up to date, and look forward to having you on again soon, and keep us up to date.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Listen online at themikewagnershow.com and on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And watch the interview on YouTube. Also, become a sponsor of the program and or donate today at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again tomorrow for another episode of The Mike Wagner Show.